Hello, everyone. Hello. How you doing?
Welcome to another week of Going to See My Friends podcast where we talk about our favorite movies, old and new, and in between. With me, as always, is Tobias Maximus, aka Toby Ballinger. It should be the other
Hi,
way around.
everyone.
Hello, Toby.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. I'm like I said
Yes.
before, I'm whelmed. Uh, I'm excited for this week. This week
I am
is a
too.
very good movie, Toby. I'm glad that you suggested this one. We're going to be talking about The Devil's Advocate and talking about that great movie and where kind of I don't know where it sits in our kind of I don't know what I don't know. I'm inarticulate today because I've had coffee and my brain is scrambled. But
Right.
yeah, but we're gonna have a good
Excuse
time
me.
talking about this. Yeah, and just as before we went on there, you were talking about where you saw it first, Toby. Where did you see this movie first?
So, hey, everybody. Good to
Hello.
see everyone. Thank
Yeah.
you. And hey, thanks for the feedback we got, by the way. I received a really nice email from a listener about our Stand By Me podcast
Oh
from
wow,
from
cool.
last week. Yeah, I was going to let you know Hezekiah from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania,
Hezekiah.
wrote in. Yes, thank you, Hezekiah, for writing in. I got your message in, and I believe you're right. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
So keep the comments coming in, everybody, and we read them and we appreciate that. So, but yeah, I don't know why the devil's advocate. When did I text you about this? Because we kind of go into the week afterwards. I was
Yeah.
still riding that high from Stand By Me.
Well, you did it early, like Monday or Tuesday,
I must have. I
Yeah,
must
because it was
have.
early.
And we don't really talk about this movie a lot, and I don't know that this comes up very much. But as both you and I being both Al Pacino fans and Keanu Reeves fans, this is the matchup that we've been waiting for in 1997.
Yes. Yeah.
Keanu being the top billed person, he's riding the high of, excuse me, cut that. He he's riding the high of Point Break, and Al Pacino's coming off an Oscar win
hmm
from Scent of a Woman, and we get the Al Pacino in this that we love from the final scene of Scent of a Woman, the but not a snitch. We get that gear of Al Pacino for 2.5 hours.
Yes.
And it completely pays off. It was important to us at the time. It was scary at the time because, I mean, the movie comes out, it's called The Devil's Advocate.
Right.
It's pretty clear that Al Pacino is playing the devil.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we have to find that out halfway through a movie or at the end, there's the twist. It turned out that, no, we know right from the beginning that the devil is
Yeah.
Al Pacino and Keanu Reeves is the Blue Flame Quantico special, if you will. And they give it to us, and we don't talk about it enough. I'll forgive the melodrama of everybody else's acting in this movie and just look at the material itself. Also, what turned me onto it is that Tony Gilroy is one of the writers. And Tony Gilroy, 1997, this is almost what 30 years ago. And you and I talk about Andor all the time. We just Rogue
Rogue
One,
One.
which
Yeah.
he did most of the rewrites, and
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reason why it was postponed is because he came in and punched it up, and punch it up he did. So huge Tony Gilroy fan as well. You
Yes.
really see all that come through, and it was really really fun to go back and revisit this movie, and I can't wait to get into it.
Yeah. I mean, this you hit it right on the head, man. I think this is Pacino in his, the kind of like this decade, I should say, kind of defined the rest of his career because now when you look at Pacino movies, you kind of always throw out a line like we were before we went on air here,
Right.
just throwing back and forth these lines. But I mean, look at this is Pacino in the '90s, and this may be like we always kind of do like a little light background check, but this is him in the '90s, right? He goes from Dick Tracy, Godfather Part 3, both in '90, Frankie and Johnny, Glengarry Glen Ross, '91, '92,
Hmm.
Son of a Woman. Then he goes to Carlito's Way, Heat, City Hall, and then he goes to this one. And then after the same year, Donnie Brasco comes out, 99, The Insider, and then in 99, also Any Given Sunday. So, I mean, this is Pacino's decade. I mean, this is the decade where he comes out of that kind of like quiet leading man type of very stoic and very, kind of quiet, not quiet, but just kind of intense inside intensity, and to this decade where he kind of just lets it all loose. And I think we get to celebrate that, or we're on the winning end of that because
we really are. We really are. You're right. He goes from he let his silence speak for him in so much of what brought him to this moment.
Yeah.
And what we wanted was him just breaking it down for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he breaks it down for us in this movie. It gives me goosebumps. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's awesome.
Getting ahead of myself. Holy shit.
Well, and if you compare that with Keanu, I think Keanu had Point Break, and then he had Dracula, Much Ado About Nothing, Speed, which he kind of shot him into the stratosphere as an action star.
That's right.
But Keanu, and then he did Johnny Mnemonic, and Chain Reaction, and then he does this movie. And I think Keanu was more of the kind of, do one for them, do one for me type of actor, where he still wanted to do the small indie movies. So I think he kind of needed this movie. He took less money than usual just so they could get Pacino into this movie.
That's right.
So I think that, for him, he saw the kind of potential about this movie. And also it was a decade where we had a lot of courtroom dramas, right? I mean,
it was that's right.
Yeah, it was the decade of I don't know, like, let's see, let me get my notes here.
Well, you have A Few Good Men with
The Firm,
Rob Reiner, The Firm,
Philadelphia, Primal Fear, Time to Kill.
Love it. My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah. And even JFK, to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
That last
I'm
part
a sucker for it.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it. And the courtroom drama is, and it's really interesting that you bring up that this is a courtroom drama. There's 3 different courtroom scenes. This is about a law firm or a partner working his way up the ladder in a law firm. And you and I both, having spent many years working for law firms, we can see, and I don't want to bust the balls of the courtroom drama stuff, and I'm not going to get into the whole that's not how discovery works and all that. We're going to set all that stuff aside, but this is a courtroom drama.
Yeah, and go ahead, sorry.
And I'm a huge sucker for that. Everything that you just listed off, Few Good Men.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to it. I love it. I love the tense. I love that it's one or the other.
Yeah.
It's very, you're going to get, the answer is either going to be this or it's going to be that.
But yeah, and it's also, I think when a genre kind of kind of overfills the quota, so to speak, meaning, and every time something kind of big happens in Hollywood, they just tend to recreate it. And I think when it comes to a certain point, they have to zag. And I think this is one of the courtroom dramas that zags, because this is like a courtroom drama, but it's also supernatural thriller, right? And so this is where they zag. They present it, because if you look at the first, I don't know, say half hour of this movie, maybe.
Yes.
I mean, and you watch The Firm with Tom Cruise, it's basically the same movie, right? He's getting recruited into this thing, and they do such a great job. Taylor Hackford does such a great job in this movie of building that suspense, because even in The Firm and in this movie, that something's not right. Like, what's going on here? Like, why is it so eerie? Why is it so, and in The Firm, it was a smaller firm, but it had this kind of thing about, okay, this is too perfect, right? And then at the beginning of this movie, he's like, we want to fly you up to select a jury, and it's all paid, all expenses paid, whatever. And they're recruiting him very heavily. So you're kind of going like, okay, well, what is this? And I remember thinking when I first saw this, like, this is creepy. When's the shoe going to drop, And then when it does,
right. That's right. When's he going to figure out that it's too good to be true?
Right.
And they put it immediately on him, and he calls him out for it.
Yeah.
at his celebration in the bar, the guy comes up with an offer. We're just going to fly you up and you're going to help us pick a jury.
Yeah.
You don't need an attorney to help you pick a jury.
Right.
And he knows this, and he calls him out, and he's been having shots with, and he's looking at it, and he looks at the card, and he's like, yeah, whatever, and he tells him to get lost, which is the right choice.
Yeah.
As it turns out, he was right. Kevin's initial reaction is to get it. But this is the first 15 minutes of the movie. And as the audience, how do you keep up this pace? Well, there is that underlying, I know, when's the other shoe going to drop,
Right.
as you were saying when I was interrupting you.
No, you're fine.
And you're right. Taylor Hackford does an amazing job. He known for his suspenseful dramas, An Officer and a Gentleman, and Against All Odds.
Oh,
I mean,
Against All Odds. What an underrated movie that was, Against All Odds. I went into it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say. No. I was just going to say that I remember. Everybody remembers the hit song that came out by Phil Collins, right? Take a look at me now. And I remember that on the radio everywhere. But when I watched that movie, I was like, "Oh wow, this is better than I thought it was." I mean, that movie, we could do a whole deep dive on that movie. That's a great.
It's
movie.
on the list now.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool, man. Thanks. Oh wow!
The Say You
got
Say
me excited.
Me video.
Yeah,
he did the Lionel Richie Say You Say Me video. I mean, that was a monster. We grew up with this stuff. This guy, like, kind of somehow, and never recognized him for it, was like brought us from the 80s into the 90s.
Yeah,
with just banger after banger, and you're like, oh, he did this. Like, the videos weren't really a thing, and they were trying to figure it out. How to do videos. Taylor Hackford, thank you.
Yeah.
Salute to Taylor Hackford.
Yeah. So anyways, oh man, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, yeah, I think it's a great movie to kind of, like I said before, this movie kind of zags.
It definitely zags.
And puts that supernatural element into it, which is, what Al Pacino, John Milton says at the end. He says, when Keanu asks him, why the law? And it says, well, because it puts us in everything. Right. And that's
the ultimate backstage pass.
Right. And we'll get to that speech.
You brought it up first.
I know. But we're going to get to that speech. And
he sets the stage. He sets the stage.
Look.
Okay. Oh, boy. Here we go.
But don't touch. Yeah.
Here we go. Feeling the goof.
Yeah.
You're jumping from one foot to the next. Sorry. Holy shit, we should just do a whole podcast just on the final scene, because you don't get the devil's confession very often. We get the devil's confession in this at the end. Oh my god, you guys, if you haven't seen this movie, you have to watch The Devil's Advocate. It's it's a lot.
It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
Thank God.
Well, so like I was saying, so it starts in the same mold: ambitious young lawyer, charismatic mentor, adversary Pacino. High stakes cases and a moral test. Now, the moral test, when that comes into this movie, you really feel it. Like, you really feel, not only do you feel that his dilemma in the, when he says, maybe I don't want you to take this case, you got to go care for your wife. Not only do you see that as like something as a plot device in the movie, but you also recognize things in your own life that you go, so this is kind of that moment. Like, and you start to, or at least I did, and tell me if you agree or disagree. But it's like,
no, please tell me your take on this, because yes, I have pages of notes on this.
So it's like this idea that, like, in your own life, if you, let's see, it's not so much that you were told or you were directed to do this, which a lot of people go, like, including me, say sometimes like, man, I should have seen that coming. But instead, we're blind to our own kind of ambition or ego, whatever it is. And that's why we make these decisions. And it's interesting that they put it in the context of this movie as like kind of devil and heaven and hell, which a lot of people do. I don't want to offend anybody, but a lot of people are into, their religions and they kind of dictate what they can, their morality. But I think that in this movie, you see that, and it's confronted in a way that's not really, that's just more universal. And it's not really, you can say that, yeah, it's devil and heaven and hell, but it's obviously in people's lives more than they care to admit. Would you say?
Well, the idea is that it's your decisions that got you to this point.
Yeah. And like he says, vanity is his favorite,
It's
sin.
his favorite sin.
Yeah. So,
His pitch, if you will, the devil's pitch, if you will, is really, he says it to, he's all, Kevin, it's basic.
mhm.
It's so basic. It's who is this? Who are you carrying those bricks for, Steven? Who are you carrying those bricks for?
Yes.
It's so like, God, he hits you right upside the head with it, especially at the end when he tells you about his relationship with God. This is the devil's relationship with God.
Yeah.
Where you're sympathetic to this devil. I get it. What he's saying, what the devil is saying in this is not that far-fetched.
Yeah.
I gave you every opportunity. This is the same with God. God loves us unconditionally, right? Except for the conditions.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
I mean, Satan, Lucifer, was God's favorite. And what did God do to his favorite?
Yeah.
He cast him down. That's not unconditional love. And so
Right.
his beef, the devil's beef in this, is so just like, you get it.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do?
Yeah. I mean, it also shows kind of the weaponizing of religion, kind of, if you're into that kind of stuff.
Yes.
It's the way that religion kind of is able to kind of manipulate the idea of, well, this is what, it's recognizing man's kind of flaws, and our humans' flaws, not men and women, humans' flaws, and then being able to say, okay, well, here's how we can organize this sect or this dogma for people to follow, because we can kind of manipulate and prey on these weaknesses over here. And I think that this movie kind of really shows you the power of that, because I'm not really a believer in the whole organized religion thing, but I do believe in some sort of kind of cosmic, force maybe, but it's not heaven and hell kind of thing. It's so
Popes, swamis, snake handlers,
yeah,
all feeding from the same trough.
right.
I mean, this
Exactly.
is just such a, what is it that I believe,
Mhm.
actually, after all this time at 52 and be 53 here in another month? Thanks for the early happy birthday wishes, everybody. Hezekiah writes in, hitchhiking in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. He says, yeah, no, they're listening to it right now. Okay, cool.
Sweet.
Thanks, Hezzy. What is it that I believe? Do I believe, if what the movie is giving us is true, that this is Satan cast down, what used to be an angel, and he's the head of hell? It's better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven, which comes up. I mean, it's really like, it just keeps going up and up and up. Like, how far up does this go? What is it that you believe? And it's asking you, what is it that you believe? Do you believe in that? What are these voices in your head? You get the one on one shoulder and the other on the other shoulder. I mean, it's very black and white. And the devil, his pitch at the end when he's like, I'm a humanist.
Yeah.
Maybe the last humanist. I'm a fan of man. And you're like, this would this have been a better God to serve? I mean, I can't believe I'm asking myself as a grown-up Catholic boy who went to I was an altar boy, and I did all the things and made my confirmed Catholic. And what is it that I believe? I mean, do I believe in this? And like you said, I don't know that I believe in sorry to make it sound sing song, but these are all the questions that I have. It's just really makes you think.
Yeah.
This is one of those real head scratchers. In trying to do some deep dives on this later and go, well, what are the symbology? What are the scripture passages that are being said in this? I don't know that anybody's really done a deep dive on this movie before.
Yeah.
It might be too much to do a deep dive on this, other than where the film is shot and the halo lighting box that's going behind Kevin and John as they're walking out of the courtroom later. I mean, there's a lot of little Easter eggs that you can pick up on.
Well,
And which obviously I appreciate. I do like the way the set, and again, Taylor Hackford shot it so well.
yeah.
Man, it's just it asks so much of you, and it comes down to you. It's this coming down to Kevin. Kevin is the only person in this, the only character in this movie that doesn't realize that John Milford is the devil.
Yeah.
Everybody else is clued in.
Well, do you think I want to ask you this question? Is vanity really the deadliest sin, or is
Oh boy.
Milton overselling it? That's what I
Well,
mean.
how vain is he?
Yeah. I mean, you could tell that he's kind of, he obviously has this agenda of wanting Kevin to, have a child with his his
Right,
minion, his other
his
minion.
plan
Right.
to, like, he's been trying to make an army. I mean, where's this eventually going to go?
Right. Well,
Like,
he
is he going
says
to overthrow God? I mean,
yeah.
I don't think that's even an option. I think this is just what he does.
Yeah. And I think the movie also kind of really sets up this, let's see, this kind of temptation for him, so to speak, if we're talking in heaven and hell kind of stuff.
Yes. Well, the first time we meet him, he's tempting Eve.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this idea that let me bring him to New York, and then everything that Milton does after that is just opening it's like almost like the Matrix, which we're going to do here in a little bit. But it's like, I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to go through it. And the amount of times that he goes through it, and there's only a couple of times, not even a couple, maybe one, well, maybe once or twice in this movie where he kind of turns down Milton and says, no, I got to do this other thing. But then it comes back again twice as temptful.
Yes.
But I
He
think
can't help himself. Kevin can't help himself.
well, when you prey on someone's ego and you play on it and prey on it, then and this movie at the end too. I don't want to jump ahead too far, but it's like even at the end, the devil. It's not like he defeated the devil. It's just that the idea that vanity is this, like he says, his favorite sin. This idea that like, well, yeah, you may have defeated that, but it's always going to be coming at you. It doesn't matter what, it's going to be coming at you in different ways. And just because you thwarted this version of it doesn't mean that it's going to come back, not going to come back in this other version. And so I think that this movie kind of frames it wonderfully in that way. Here's another question I wanted to ask you before we get to it is this more of a legal thriller or a supernatural horror movie? Because I feel like for me, that was the Zag, like I said before, but it could stand on it. Do you think it could stand on its own as a legal thriller and take out all the
I think it's
supernatural?
kind of. I don't know if this is going to be a satisfying answer or not, but I think that it's in its own league.
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good answer.
I don't think you can pigeonhole it one way or the other, and that's why it's just has stuck with me. Because again, I pitched it on Monday or Tuesday, having just stumbled across a scene of it, and I immediately just sat back in my chair. I was like at work, like eating lunch or something like that. Came across a scene that was like divine intervention, if you will. And I was like, I don't remember the last time I even thought about this movie. Like, it doesn't come up in normal conversation. Obviously, a lot of Al Pacino's lines in that.
Yeah.
Like, you will at any given moment turn to me and go, he's a Satanist. And I know who it is, but I never really just, it's always kind of been there.
Yeah.
And I listen, I'm not a puppet master. You pull your own strings.
Right. Well, I think like when you even texted this and we both gave each other quotes. I can't remember what your quote was, but I remember mine was like, always. Because he always has that little ha. It's almost like a second generation James Brown of like, ha. That's a James Brown lyric.
He wrote that.
So yeah, I mean, this kind of came out as I said before. This kind of came out in the '90s, this was kind of the end point of the political, like legal dramas or courtroom dramas, if you want to say. I don't know if I.
That's true. They kind of went to television for the legal dramas.
Yeah.
And the movie makers and the writers saw that we do like a legal drama, but it was getting oversaturated with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And as you were touching on, and so it just moved to, we're going to give it to you for an hour a week. LA Law, you have
The Practice.
The Practice, you have um uh
Murder
you know,
One. Do you remember that? Murder One?
Murder One
It was
in
on
there.
ABC. Yeah, do you remember that one? It had this
Well,
yeah.
I never watched any of them.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. But I
I don't know
remember.
how.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to think of the name. Keep going. I'm trying to
Well,
think
it
of the
was
name of the
this,
show.
it was the only reason I remember it is because it's what TV series are now, which is the season arc, right? Because before then you had this episodic kind of Law and Order type of stuff where
Hmm.
each week you finish it, you solve the case and you tie it up with the bow.
Yeah,
But
Matlock.
so this was that first. Murder One was on ABC, and I think it came out in 97, I want to say 96, 97. And it was the first time that it was one case over a season,
Okay.
and it was the lawyers and the police working together to solve this case. And that was the big sell of it. And of course I never watched it. I think I quit watching TV around that time.
Okay.
Network TV, I should say, anyways. And it was kind of that was the sell. And I think that it was part of the boom of everything, TV and movies of this courtroom dramas. But yeah, I remember that one. I never, like I said, never saw it, never saw an episode, but I just remember the sell of it.
So it wasn't really designed for us in mind. That we're not the target audience for that. We kind of want just a taste of the courtroom drama. I like the danger of the courtroom. I think more than anything can happen in this room.
Yeah.
And you're leaving fate up to 12 people from the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can go either way. And there's usually either a celebration or a disappointment at the end. I mean, for somebody who's been working trial cases for going on over 20 years, that's the truth of it. If you're on one of these teams, once it goes into that room, I mean, it's kind of out of your hands.
Yeah.
It's out of my hands.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Built a good case. Kevin's built a great case, 64 in a row. He's got he thinks he's got it. He has got the golden touch. These are his juries, blah, 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 blah. He switches sides to become a defense attorney.
Mhm.
Why? Because for the last 5 years, he's been listening to a jury through a ear hole from the men's restroom into the jury deliberation room. Now, the devil didn't make him do anything, but the devil probably put that hole in the wall because all I do is set the stage. And it's up to you to go listen. He didn't have to go and listen to that hole in the wall for the last 5 years. That was the first thing that John asks Kevin when he meets him in his office is, "What's your secret?" He goes, "Oh, I don't know if I have a secret." Now, come on, tell me your secret. And he was just waiting to hear it. Like, the devil's having fun.
Right.
I want to hear you say to me that you listened to the hole that I put there, and you didn't have to listen, but you did.
Yeah.
You cheated. You cheated your way here.
Yes, suspect.
I mean, he didn't make him do any of these things. Kevin did all the little steps to get to this point.
Yeah.
And he's only got himself to blame. It pays off at the very end when he comes up with all the excuses. Like, he throws every excuse at him.
Yeah.
About why it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's his fault.
Right.
It's Kevin, you brought yourself to this room.
Well, it's interesting too, because I always feel like this was a part, and speaking of this whole film as a whole, we get this kind of devil side of things, and kind of as we get into the thousands, I think it changes the trajectory of these kind of religious movies, because in the 70s,
Oh yeah,
you got these kind of roles, right? You had The Exorcist, which kind of kicks off everything, and then you
that's
get
right.
like The Omen, and you get Old Man Brain. I can't think of
No,
the
those are two. Those are
right.
two great ones.
And so, but in the 60s, you got a lot of The Greatest Story Ever Told, you got Jesus of Nazareth, you got a lot of these kind of God type movies.
Jesus Christ
Yeah,
Superstar.
right. There you go. And this, yeah. And so, it's kind of interesting to see that flop. And do you think it's more of a reflection of where kind of audiences want to see, or do you think it was just somebody's kind of saying, I'm tired of the God stuff, let's go the other side?
Great question.
Yeah.
One of the things I was watching in this New York late millennium, the millennium's coming, 1997, late 90s, New York City, is what I was looking at around there. And I was like, what is this really reminding me of? And I was remembering Mad Men.
Hmm.
Mad Men set in 1960s, season one Mad Men set in 1960 in this building, the same building that we're in
Yeah.
this movie. It's the same place. You talk about history repeating stuff. I was like, what is it that's bugging me about New York? This is where the vanity comes from. This is where yeah, da, 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 all this kind of glitz and glamour and success. It's about success. And Mad Men, I remember back about what Don Draper was, who was pretending to put on a facade of somebody who this is what people are supposed to look like and supposed to do. Uh, we were sold certain things. We were sold The Exorcist. We were sold The Omen. We were sold Jesus of Nazareth. We were sold Jesus Christ Superstar. We were sold Exodus. We were sold, and who was paying for that? Why were those the movies that were greenlit and not other movies sort of like this?
Hmm.
And it was, I feel that there is, I mean, you call it a cabal or whatever, that we're going to push this in front of you, this information. This is what the image that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And we know now, going back and looking over all that so much of that was bullshit
Hmm.
and was paid by lobbyists, if you will. And you just kind of go, well, if that was paid by lobbyists, and if this was paid by like we saw this because, and why was this the trailer that was on TV? Every single commercial break. That's not done by accident. It's
Yeah.
not because it's a good movie. You
Yeah.
you go out and you actually watch it and be like, okay, whatever. So many of those movies we've seen once and just never gone back to it. It didn't affect us. It was more propaganda ish, if you will. Organized religion is kind of a lot like that. We're going to beat you over the head with this. Here's what you're supposed to do, and then if you do make the right decisions, you'll go to heaven. It's all a big sales pitch in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And you and I both grew up. I think you grew up Catholic too. I know and notice neither of us are there on Sunday morning because it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to us because we thought about it
Hmm.
and went, hang on, if this is like this, and with this movie we get the devil actually, and it's obviously written by the novelist who wrote the novel had a lot of opinions on this, and Da Vinci Code did a lot of this too, where it was like, these are kind of some of the hard truths you're going to have to face. And
Yeah.
like, hey, that thing you heard that one time, and it's just how much do you accept that you hear with your through the peephole
Uh-huh.
in the window of the men's bathroom?
Right.
Like, what if the jury that he was listening to, the words that the jury were saying, wasn't necessarily the words that were coming into Kevin's ear? He just put his ear up to
Yeah.
it.
Right.
And it could have been the devil telling him all the words that he wanted to hear to see if he comes with them on this. Now, will you choose based on what you've heard and what
Yeah.
you've seen and what you think you're supposed to do?
Interesting. Yeah.
These two conflicting thoughts in your head. You're both of these characters. You're both God and Satan.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
really what it comes down to is you. That's your vanity.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's what I think John Milton preys upon in this is the idea that that's kind of universal. That's in everybody.
And
Yes, it's in everybody.
yeah, and the idea that this is how easy, and, if you choose to kind of put it on the shoulders of God or the devil, then this is
Mhm.
how stuff plays out, right? There's somebody controlling all this, and there's somebody not controlling it, but it's someone's kind of nudging you this way, nudging you that way, depending on what. But and some people take that as the religion aspect of their lives, right? This is why they go to church on Sundays. Oh, please help me, guide me through all this, whatever. I don't go to church. I don't know what they pray about, but so it's this idea of this external force that's really implementing this idea of what life is, and it's your job to kind of get through it. But in actuality, it's in everybody. That's everybody's thing.
Well,
We're all
you've got a way out. You've got a way out of why you're there, and you can blame something else. And really, what the devil is telling Kevin is, you're out of excuses, dude. You're here because of. At what point will you stop and realize that it's you?
yeah, right,
It is
exactly,
you. That
yeah,
is the vanity,
yes,
and that's such a hard lesson for somebody to learn. Is that I can't blame the devil for this, and I can't, oh, thank God that we did this, and God was the one who brought me here, and you score a touchdown, you thank God, but I mean, you can do that all the time. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the one who's got to set the alarm clock to go off in the morning so you can get up and go to work, kind
right.
of thing. When will you start to acknowledge that?
Well, it's the idea also, especially at the end in the end scene of like, free will, it's a bitch,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Yeah, and that's the thing that they're whatever forces that you choose to believe in, like those are the things that they can't interfere with it, but they're nudging you in a way that you're going to use your free will. You're thinking because Kevin says to John Milton at the end, he's like, "You did this. It was your fault," and he's like, "Wait, hey, I
I
gave you
don't
an
do
out.
that.
Yeah, I don't do that." And so there's also this belief of like, well, like he said, also says, I put, I set it in motion, like
I just set the
yeah,
stage.
he just sets the stage, and so it's a really kind of insightful film because for me, anyways, when I was watching it last night, it was this idea that well, nobody has a guidebook and nobody has kind of a manual on how to live life, and some people choose to think there is, and I got it right here. Every Sunday, I worship it. This is the way, and other people have different books and everything. But when it comes down to it, it's this idea that like no, you have to take responsibility for your own actions, and you have to be willing to take those consequences for when it goes wrong. And I feel like a lot of people, not to get too far away, but it's like I feel like a lot of people just they get so far away from it, of their purpose, I should say, that they start to be like, well, that was this, it's your fault, or it's that fault, that person's fault, or this happened, and ultimately, I believe in you have free will, so.
Yeah. You can say, Jesus, take the wheel all you want. But when the light turns green, you're going to have to either make the turn. It comes down to you.
Yeah.
You're the one that, I mean, who is it that you're talking to in your head? I mean, who is that internal monologue that you're, I just, I was thinking of the idea of guardian angels in this, where it was, Milton says, in his big speech, he's an absentee landlord. And that's really kind of tough one to hear is that he like for him he is for the devil he is an absentee landlord. He's like I never rejected him. I would and he's an absentee landlord. He's just as pissed off. The devil's just as pissed off as everybody else. He's going to carry this beef forever. This is going to
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah.
But for you can sit there and you can pray, or you can say, well, the devil made me do it, or Jesus take the wheel. But ultimately, when that light turns green, you gotta go. It's
Yeah.
your turn
Yeah.
to go. Who did you say God was driving the car at that time? Did you say the devil was driving the car at that time? I mean, it's basic, Kevin.
Yeah. And it's just this movie is kind of it kind of just highlights his kind of journey from pure or not pure, but like this thing of, oh, I'm just going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be the best I can. I'm going to do this. I'm going to just to, well, here's what this you could be like. It's kind of like The Last Temptation of Christ. You ever see that movie, the
Oh
Scorsese?
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
that whole end was controversial because it showed Jesus being like, nah, I don't want all that. I'm going to go over here, live my life, and that was a bit controversial. But that's what the idea is in this movie is like he kind of takes this journey and then at the end realizes, oh, this is I don't want this. This is not what I want. And I have to go back to this idea of me of just doing the right thing and just being a moral
yes,
person, you know? So, but that was great. And let's get into kind of like you were touching on earlier, kind of Taylor Hackford's kind of way of filming this because I feel like there was a lot of
right.
cool examples of this journey that kind of Kevin and what was his name? Marianne? Mary?
Hmm.
Yeah. So like
First of all, her name's Mary.
Mary. Okay. Whoa. See that just over my head the whole movie.
I mean, they refer to her as Marianne, but
Right.
yeah, her name's Mary.
So, but I mean, a lot of this, especially in the early scenes when they're in New York, a
Yes.
lot of backlit red, like it's this journey into hell kind of thing. You see a lot of
Hmm.
reds, you see a lot of dark marble, polished
Yes.
wood, imposing architecture. Everything, even as the offices feel like cathedrals. And it's also it's kind of gothic in this way. Like you see a lot of I feel a lot of gothic in this movie. How about you? What did you notice about kind of the way this was filmed?
So if you listen to the movie with your earbuds in,
Yeah.
you will hear a low rumbling in the background
Oh, really?
in all of those buildings.
Yeah.
And you probably pick up on it just watching it in your living room with the subtitles on. That's another way to watch movies. But I don't know that you'll really audibly hear that there's a
I didn't hear it, but
but it's
I don't doubt that
there.
it's there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's there. It's this that's an ominous sound to me.
Yeah.
And it's really this is all for Kevin's character, right? And he just setting the stage. Now, is any of this real? Sometimes I ask myself, or has he, when he said he just sets the stage, is anybody else going through this? Most of the staff at this law firm, and you and I both having worked for law firms know that when you see a law firm that is just busy and running around and it looks very efficient and very orderly, and this is what a New York white shoe law firm should be looking like, but it's a show. I think it's a show for because I've never been in this room. Have you ever been in this room?
No.
Most people haven't been on the 38th floor of on Fifth Avenue
Yeah.
in an office like this, and you believe it. You believe the way that he has shot everything. Is shot letterbox, or it's just that I watched the letterbox version of it. But you just see a slit of everything. You're kind of confined to that. We don't get big swooping shots. When we do see swooping shots, he's literally on the edge of the world.
Yeah.
They go out to the balcony when Kevin is introduced to John Milton. They open that door and they walk out. There's an infinity pool that's spilling over the edges, and they walk out literally to the edge of the world. And I'm like, he's well, this is a test.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Are we negotiating?
Most people can't handle this. Of course, it's a test. Everything's a test.
Yeah.
How far can I take you? I just set the stage, and you have to walk out to the edge. All these little things that the devil is doing in this is
The
he's
word
not. It's not even work for him.
right. Well, it's
It's
like the
too
world
easy.
this the world can be yours. Here it is, you know. It's kind of
Yeah.
that unveiling. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I would you know, and even the clothing,
Hmm.
I noticed that Keanu Reeves starts in like kind of these lighter suits.
Yeah, it's just a poor Southern lawyer,
Yeah.
and his accents coming and going. It's real thick in some scenes and non-existent in other.
And
Put that kind of stuff aside. The
yeah, yeah.
continuity stuff aside. There's a little bit. That's just up to the actor, but
Well, I
for the
think
way that it's shot, it's
yeah. And so he starts out with these lighter colored suits. and then he gets darker and darker and sleeker
Yes.
as the movie goes on. And Milton's always in black or deep tones,
Hmm.
and Mary wears kind of the softer, lighter colors until she begins to kind of unravel toward the end. And so, just these kind of like things that feed into each scene that he has, right? Either whether it's with Pacino and Keanu, or
Hmm.
Keanu and Mary, or whatever, whoever it is, there's always seems to be this kind of mise-en-scene type of stuff that you can kind of pick up in this movie that kind of hints at something bigger, right? A bigger theme. So I always saw that the clothing that he wears, as kind of a symbolic as his kind of journey into kind of the depths of hell, if you like to think that way, anyways.
He ends up dressing just like his who
Yeah,
turns out to be his father.
right,
He
right.
ends up basically just becoming. It's a metamorphosis into the son of Satan.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's what he
Well, I
is.
like,
That's what
yeah,
they
and I
tell
like
us.
what when he explains that to Keanu, and Keanu's like, the Antichrist. And he's like, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, to the devil, Christ was just another guy that he couldn't corrupt,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Tried to out in the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. He tried to work on him. It didn't work for Jesus.
Yeah.
It didn't work on Jesus. So when he's like, he's like, whatever.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
I love that part too,
Whatever
because
you gotta do, whatever you gotta
yeah,
label, you gotta put
whatever
on
you
it,
gotta
bro.
call it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's so good. Like, sure.
Oh man.
If you
Also,
say so, guy.
also
I'm so glad you brought that up. Whatever.
whatever. The statues, there's a lot of
So
statues.
cool, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of statues in this, marble statues, and at
Yeah,
the end they start coming
yeah,
to life and twist.
they do.
Um, and it's
This
showing you the.
practical effect is, I think they won an Oscar for this practical
Oh, really?
effect,
I didn't.
or they
Yeah, I
were
didn't know that.
nominated. That
Nice.
practical, when it comes to life,
Yeah.
never gets old.
Well, let's jump to it. I mean, I think
Okay.
this whole movie
Yeah.
basically is kind of one huge temptation after temptation, one after the other.
Oh, it's
And
nonstop.
yeah,
We never see him take a
unrelenting.
shower and go to bed. He's just
Yeah,
on, just going, going, going,
yeah,
going, going. They don't let up on him. They never let him get a break. Anytime that he tries to console his wife, the phone rings and
yeah,
he's off and running. He's like, you could have just sat there and consoled her. Your wife's having literally the worst breakdown of her life. She's telling you that she cannot have children.
yeah,
And the phone rings and he's all, hang on, Mary, I gotta go get the phone. He could have just let it go to voicemail or go to the answering machine. He does not. He springs up. He's out of there.
Well,
He's more interested in somebody else.
it's the thing of that's what kind of when you get tempted and you start to take all these temptations.
Yeah,
I'm using the verbiage of the movie. So
absolutely.
when he goes in, and then all of a sudden he says, I want you off the case. You got to take care of your wife, and it becomes this sensible thing, this pragmatic thing of go take care of your family, man. And it turns the
Gives him a
tables,
chance.
and he's just not ready for that. He's just like, whoa, no, and then he has to look for an excuse or an explanation to excuse that ego, right? Of like, no, I'm in neck deep into this thing. I'm not gonna back out now. Because what if
It's
I
my jury.
yeah, what if I back out, she gets better, and then I hate her for it? It's
Hmm.
this thing of, dude,
That's so
just
true. That's
it's
the truth. He
yeah.
tells him the truth. He's like, that is what he's afraid of.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna
think
hate her for it later.
I disagree. I think it's something that he cooks up because he's so used to winning. He's so hell bent on winning everything, right? Everything in his life. It came all this all this fame, and he thinks, oh well, I earned all of this. And
Hmm.
really it's just this idea of Milton kind of leading his ego to the point where, okay, yeah, now why don't you just do this? And he's like, no, I win. That's what, like he says, I win. That's what I do, and he
Yes.
gets to this point where now he can't back down. And that's where Milton, I think, goes, gotcha, because you never saw him coming. You never saw, like, that's what he's trying to tell him throughout this whole movie. Don't, they never see me coming.
Right.
And so it's this idea that, like, that's how it happens. And that's what usually how it unfolds. And Keanu is just so neck deep into it. He's not going to relent because that's just not who he is. But that's who he is. He really, that's what the movie, at the end of the movie, when he gets back into the bathroom at the end, it's like, okay, like this is, I have to go back to being the person that I was. Not to say that the devil's now gone forever, but it's like, this is just one choice in the lifetime of choices that I'm going to make. I just hope I make the right choice. And, so yeah.
It's the Milton tells Kevin on the subway, maybe it's your time to lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
He keeps giving him all the
outs,
every way out.
Yeah.
And Kevin chooses to keep going.
Yeah.
And he brings it up to him. He's like, you made me do this. And he's like, no, I didn't. If you go back and you watch, he's given him every chance to say no to him.
Yeah.
And Kevin's right there. No, I'm here.
Yeah.
Kevin, Milton goes, what, you think I never lost before?
Yes.
You read the Bible, it's a book about the devil losing. And I write that down right away. He's like, you think I never lost before? I mean, the devil's telling him the truth through the whole thing, too.
Yeah.
He's never being lied to. And you think of the devil as the great deceiver, right? I think that is one of the names that he's been given over all the... In this version of the devil, he's maybe not a bad guy. It's just true. And I'm giving you free will. That thing that God promised you, I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
I'm actually living it. I've been down in here with my nose in it since the whole thing began.
And you can't say that the last century was
was me. The 20th century wasn't all mine.
Yeah.
One of the lines that goes through my head, maybe on a daily basis, and I forgot that it came from this, was, all of it, Kevin. When anybody says, there's just, it's one of my little internal like jokes to myself. Yeah. And that's frightening. Because what if, we were promised guardian angels as Catholic in catechism and Sunday school and all that stuff. We were kind of promised that someone would help us, nudge us in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but in this way that he is an absentee landlord.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just this he's trying to present this as a case against morality, right? Because he thinks that morality is this kind of cruel joke that God has kind of given us, because humans are usually, punished for their desires, lust, ambition, pleasure.
That's right. We're shamed for it. And then we got to carry guilt. It's like a bag of fucking bricks.
Yeah. Who you carrying that bag for?
All you got to do is set them down. And that's such a cold way of, and I'm like, is it just that easy? If it was that easy, we would just do it.
Yeah.
The guilt, we all carry a lot of guilt with us as Catholics. Lord knows we carry a lot of guilt with us. Guilt, it's like a bag of fucking bricks.
Yeah.
All you got to do is set it down.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that sounds really easy when you put it like that. I mean, it's not just a get-rich-quick scheme or a, I just sell my soul to the devil. Boom, done. I'll go to the crossroads and I'll learn how to play guitar. And then what? Then what happens to your soul?
And then
if you believe in a soul.
And he claims that he's the only one honest enough to kind of encourage people to indulge, right? So he's always like, I'm a fan of man.
I'm a fan of man.
Yeah. So
he's a humanist. He's more of a hedonist than a humanist,
right.
if you think about it, because he's got that fainting couch in his office, and there's all these little. And I'm like, he's just, at one point we see him in his bathrobe, like we interrupted. He's been woken up from something. But most of the time, the devil's in that 3-piece suit, very tight, pressed. He looks sharp.
Where I gotta be.
Where I gotta be on the edge. And we get to see him disheveled at the end, and we get to see him in a bathrobe with the pajamas in the bathrobe. about halfway through the movie.
Yeah. And it gets
he's
burned
very
off.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
He's very vulnerable. I mean, this is a wounded soul too, if you will. I mean, he was the first one that God ever cast down.
Yeah.
And hasn't forgotten. This much we do know.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about God. I mean, we get the full, very seldom in movies do we actually get the heavy explaining everything to you. And we get it in that final scene, and it's so mesmerizing.
Yeah.
All of it is just there's so many clips. I'm like, it feels like a 20-minute scene. It probably is a 20-minute scene.
Well,
but you can watch 4-minute clip here, 4-minute clip there.
It's kind of the way he delivers it in the choices that he's making as an actor too. As you watch this, you just see all the little hand movements, you see his little dance, you see his face contorting and punctuating kind of every point that he wants to make in this. And it's just, I feel like, well, let me ask you this question.
The twiddling the fingers is
like little,
he does the little twiddle,
or he does a little soft shoe.
Yeah.
You know, do you think that this is do you think he overperformed this, or do you think that this is one of his best kind of performances?
No, he's perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
He is perfect where he positions himself in the way that it's shot, and that when he puts Kevin in charge of going to meet Cullen at the unfinished, the first time we get to meet Cullen, played by Craig T. Nelson, who's also spectacular, who has literally sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah.
And doesn't really realize, he knows that he owes John Milton, like, how many hours did we bill Cullen last year? And poor Barzoon, Eddie Barzoon, who's played by the great
Jeffrey. I was going to say Jeffrey Tambor.
Jeffrey Jones.
Jones, yeah.
Who is not a demon. He's just found his way into this room too.
Yeah.
They immediately look over to one of the demons, and there's literal demons in this. Like his demon, like he looks to the demon, like Milton looks to the demon, and the demon who's his immediate, like these characters, these actors know they're playing demons, and to do it without being a demon is so cold and subdued, and just like, maybe this is really how we picture, Annabelle dolls flying around the room and all this, terrorizing and all. This is terrorizing.
Yeah.
He's being terrorized by himself. They're giving him every chance. And he goes 11,462, like becomes almost robotic in that he knew exactly how many hours that. So Cullen the devil needs money too on this plane. He needs to fund it, right?
Yeah. And that's what
They're
I think
worldwide. They've got international. They've got law firms all over the world. And they're like, oh, he's constantly in the air. Turns out he's never in the air.
Yeah.
He rides the subway.
Yeah.
With that line about sometimes he's here, but we're dealing with the Indonesia thing right now. And he's constantly in there. He's never in the air.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the Eddie Barzoon death, when he's talking about, I nursed him through 2 divorces, a cocaine rehab, and a pregnant receptionist. It's almost like kind of emphasizing that this is how
he had sold his soul.
Right.
He had sold him his soul.
Well, this is what kind of Kevin Lomax is kind of the guiding through. The only difference is that Kevin is his son, right? So this is that's how far he could take Eddie, was just to kind of lead the firm. But he preyed on Eddie's weaknesses too, like his vanity.
Right. He didn't. Yeah. He preyed on, you're here, Eddie. You're here because of the decisions that you made on your own.
Yeah.
Everybody's here because of the decisions they made on their own. But when he's done with you, he's done with you.
Yeah.
And God knows what happens to your soul. So he's running in a green, they call it a green tracksuit. And the 3 joggers who hunt Eddie down are wearing a white jumpsuit, a black jumpsuit. I forget what the other one is.
I think I forget. Yeah.
It's the 4 horsemen.
You're right.
And Eddie's the 5th. He's wearing green, and the green is the color of the 4th horseman, which is death.
Yeah.
And you know it right from Suddenly he's going out for a jog. He's trying to better himself. That's the vanity part of it, right?
Yeah. So
he's going out. He's trying to sweat off all this yuckiness because he knows that. And he turns and he sees the joggers coming, and then he sees them disappear, and he's all,
shit.
my time is up. And he's only himself to blame.
Yeah.
I think is when somebody actually does die in this. Moyes doesn't die. Moyes has sold his soul too. But with poor Cullen, he finds himself murdering his wife and 2 stepchildren, which he does do. But he finds himself having done that. He brought himself to that point where he had to kill these 3 people. And the way that, I mean, he's like, I'm not a puppet master. He's not a puppet master, but he's not a puppet master at the same time. And the way he gets all these storylines to come to a head at the same time for his own purpose, which is to get Kevin into this room with his stepsister or his half sister. Gross. Is really a subtle way of doing it. It kind of sneaks up on you. And if you really think about all these other side characters, Jeffrey Jones plays it so well that they come to realize that their time is at an end, and he's coming to collect on his due. You sold your soul to him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean,
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. And well, is there anything about this movie that kind of took you out of the movie? Any scenes or any kind of performances?
Charlize takes me out of the movie, not because I don't think she's good in it. I think she's great in it. And she's kind of acting on an island and is a total victim. And she's right. Her character is right. And she's got to fall into madness. But her own decisions are what got her to this room, too. When the baby is playing with her ovaries, I don't care for, I'll be honest. To take me out of it, I turn my head.
Oh.
At that point. I think that might be pushing it a little. It's a big ask for the audience to watch that scene with she wakes up from the nightmare and who she thinks is her child, but it's the future that she's saying. That's a lot for me. How about you?
I think some of the special effects haven't aged well. I mean, I think for the most part they're good, but I think for that time, I feel like it could have been a little better, especially at the end, and especially there's a scene where they're out on a balcony and you can tell it's all green screened, and the city's all green screened behind them, and you can see the outlines of them, and that kind of took me out a little bit. So I think the special effects kind of take me out here and there, but for the most part, I think it's okay. You know, that's the one thing I think from this movie that I didn't really it just didn't age well, that part of it. And what about Clay Thompson Award? Do you have one for this movie?
Eddie Barzoon is my Jeffrey Jones is my Clay Thompson, because he doesn't now, and he's obviously plays the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He's Ed Rooney. He'll always have a special spot in my heart for that. I mean, we can set aside what his personal life was like.
Yeah.
I think he kind of paid the price for that, and rightfully so. If you can get past that, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's very believable as this. He's a host of a party on his penthouse. Like, he's got a really nice apartment that we get to see. And he's married to what's obviously supposed to be his trophy wife. Like, these were his rewards for being a good employee to the Milton. I think he plays it really, really well. So Jeffrey Jones is my Clay Thompson Award winner.
Nice.
How about you?
Mine is Delroy Lindo, the Haitian. I think he's Haitian. I don't know. I don't want to, but his little
Moyes.
Yeah. I think that the reason why he's in he picks that law firm is because he understands how to use, some people are they're subject to a lot of their fears and whatever, the things they don't like in life. Other people can kind of use those to their advantage, and I think that he's one of those types, because when his introduction, he's doing some sort of like voodoo or something,
He's sacrificing a goat.
yeah, and he has the tongue and everything, and
yes,
he gets
which
the guy
works. That magic works, by the way. Yeah, great point.
And so I think he understands how to use Milton. He knows that what Milton is, but he knows that I can stand in your vicinity because I have those same kind of, not powers, so to speak, but I have those same kind of things where I can control I can do stuff.
He's accepted his role.
Yeah, I mean, he's in touch with so for him, it's not like the devil is the end all be all, but it's more of,
that's right.
Oh, there's somebody I can relate to. I know what he's doing. I'll use him for this, but I'll use, what I mean? It's just he's in touch with all of that.
Absolutely do. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Kevin is sent down to the basement of this slum. It's like water dripping from this. I mean, it's got it's shot exactly. You're just like, probably doesn't smell very good in this room. And there's candles burning and skulls. And you would think this is devil worship.
Yeah.
But he is practicing his religion. And he is using it as a means to his own end. And so he and Milton have an agreement. They see, I will. And then on the way out, he's like, yeah, well, he's worth $13 million. And Kevin's like, what? He's like, you don't think he's paying us in goat's blood, do you? He might be paying them in goat's blood. I mean, he's allowed to, I don't know. How do you describe it? His character is like, what is it, voodoo or hoodoo? He's doing some kind of magic. People aren't messing with this building at all. There's one guard dog that's barking at Kevin and nobody else. And there's a child that leads Kevin down to his lair, if you will.
Yeah.
And he goes, what's the name of the guy who's the prosecutor?
Kevin Lomax?
Murda. And he takes the nails out and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And so as we think of Satan as a Christian, is the devil over all the religions? Then you're like, is he crossing religions? Is there a religion?
Yeah.
That's where my brain immediately goes, like popes, swamis, snake handlers, all eating at the same trough. That's a chilling thought as well, because I've read a holy book, and I know that there is a bad guy in this book. So if I were to read the Torah, or if I were to read the Bhagavad Gita, is there a devil in these?
Oh, you're asking me? I don't know.
Yeah, I am asking.
Well,
you.
it's. I feel like
the devil exist in other.
Yeah, but it's
religions?
in 7. I don't know very well, but I know the Gita, Bhagavad Gita is more of a kind of 7-layer thing into hell that you have to kind of go through, kind of like Dante's Inferno, if you will. But that's how, when he comes on the screen, and he's only in the movie for like, I don't know, he just has like 2 or 3 scenes in the movie.
That's it.
But I think that I always took it, especially last night watching it, I always took it as just like, well, they're in the same business. They know, and Delroy Lindo's character, what was his name? I can't remember his name.
Moyes.
Moyes.
Okay. Yeah, Moyes.
And he's kind of this. I saw that as, they're like kindred spirits, if you will. It's like, okay, and probably Milton does some stuff for him too. So that's my Clay Thompson award.
If you are of use to the devil, and you pull your own strings in that direction, who knows what the possibilities are?
Do you let me ask you this, do you still believe in God and the devil?
The God and the devil? No.
Oh, okay. It's fine. It's fine if you did.
But ask me again tomorrow, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was a dangerous movie when it came out. There were a lot of people that were really upset about this, and how dare you? And they did the same thing with I mentioned the Da Vinci Code. How dare you? You read the Da Vinci Code, and you're just kind of like, as a Catholic, and reading the Da Vinci Code, I'm kind of like, hang on, wait a minute. So Jesus had okay, so Jesus and Mary were married and had, that's what we're saying in this. And they go, well, he was a Jewish man 2,000 years ago, and it would have been weird for him to have not done.
Yeah.
Like, he's suddenly just some wanderer in the desert. Like, what? Like, you mean old Ben Kenobi? I wonder if he means old Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Shit.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's it really brings up a lot of questions, and it made me wonder. So that's a great question,
Well,
Stephen. I mean, you know what?
That's that Catholic guilt showing right now.
It really is, because you almost don't want to say it out loud. Makes it real.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Bro, that was really hard for me to say.
Hey, you don't have to say
You put
it.
me on the spot.
I don't mean to put you on the spot.
This is your fault. You did this.
You can believe whatever you want. I wasn't gonna.
Kevin.
My point wasn't to ridicule. It was just to know.
No, I know you're not ridiculing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this question is. This movie is asking.
Yeah. Well, it's framed in a way that a lot of people, I think, again, it for me, it shows the kind of what did I call it earlier? The weaponized kind of dogma of how you can kind of use it to manipulate people. That's how I see religion in general. But I don't mean to offend people that are religious. I love it. Keep doing you. It's just that this idea that it's told or framed in this way that I think a lot of people don't realize that this is like everybody's life. This isn't, it's just framed in a way of God and the devil or whatever, in that religious kind of dogma way. But for me, when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, you could take the God and devil out of this, and then it just becomes a moral kind of dilemma of a legal thriller, right?
Yeah, and it wouldn't be nearly as interesting.
Right, exactly, because you've seen that tons of times before. But when you frame it as this kind of battle, I think that's what makes it interesting, and I think that, so that's kind of my final thoughts on that. Yeah.
Hugely interesting, Stephen. It's hugely interesting in that it is a battle versus good and evil, and there's no battle.
Right. Well, yeah.
There's no, it's all comes down to, and what he comes into that room and realizes that this is all his fault. Everything is that you can't throw something else at me. What else did I do? You blaming me for marrying? Oh,
Whoa!
I hope you're kidding. I mean, all of it is just so cold. And he's right. All of the things that he's saying is right. All she wanted was love.
Mm-hmm.
She was
overrated
begging him.
Yeah, she was. That's the hardest part about that movie.
And he turned his back on the person that he's supposed to love the most.
Because he had these outside forces playing on his ego, saying, you're a winner, you're amazing, you're awesome. This is why you're awesome. This is what you have at your
You got to
hand.
shut that noise out, and he didn't.
Yeah, and he didn't.
You're going to hear, you could hear whatever you want. Like, well, what I'm supposed to do, you can do that. You can drive yourself insane with that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you see
the person that you're married to is laying on the floor crying, telling you they somehow had her ovaries removed. And you're just like, oh my God, she's going crazy.
Yeah.
This is a inconvenience to me.
Right. But this is just a small example of the many things and this is what I'm trying to reiterate, is that this battle is such a small example of the many battles that people take every day about different things. Should I get married? Should I do this? Should I buy a house? Should I have kids? Should I do this? Should I do this over here? Should I have my kids in Little League? Should I put them in dance? Constant barrage of things that prey on people that kind of give up these things or these choices or these battles
in an effort to make maybe life easier or maybe to make it less bumpy, you know, and whatever that is to anybody. I'm not judging anybody. It's just that these are the things that everybody goes through. So that's why I feel like this movie is such a great example of like they frame it in this kind of religious kind of thing, but at the end of the day, it's basically a moral dilemma in terms of how you want to live your life, right? So yeah, I think it's a great movie because of that.
It really, I mean, just the look on people's faces walking out of the theater in 1997 must have been like,
I'm a fan of man.
whoa, what the hell did I just watch? And then so he does, one of the things that kind of does take me out of it. Here's my final thought.
Okay.
I could have done without the coda in this.
Yeah.
Where I could have done without the coda, where in the screaming no, and that takes me out of it. I just start that scene over again. Once Kevin blows his brains out and the devil does the screaming no scene and everything lights on fire, that takes me way out of it. And so I choose not to watch it. I will go take my finger on my iPad and zoom back about 20 minutes and then just rewatch that whole scene again, because what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
What was all that?
Well,
and like, are these questions that I should ask myself?
I think everybody should. I mean, they're questions that I think if you go through any kind of thing in life.
That's my final thought. Watch this and go, whatever you think success is, maybe being a lawyer might not be your thing. It's not for most people. What is your ultimate, like, if I reach the pinnacle of my career, this is a career based, hey, I'm trying to get to this point because once I get that career all established, then we can start enjoying our lives. Then I can start the family and I can do, you keep putting it off. You keep putting it off ahead. But I got to keep doing this one thing and then I'll take care of Marianne. And then we all do that every single day.
Yeah.
It's the bargaining that you have with yourself, and that what's it going to take? And then once you do get into that room with the devil and it's just you and him, or maybe it's just you.
That's basically,
he's just in the room at the end of it. He's just him.
Yeah. That's yourself.
He's all alone.
That's why he turns it. I always felt like that's why he turns into Kevin at the end, right? Because it's basically, and he does the same thing Kevin does. He just does it in a supernatural way. He kills his.
He goes back to that courthouse where Larry, the reporter, great. You'd be another good. And I should have written Larry's name. I did actually write it down. Where's Larry's name? Hang on one second. Larry is fantastic. Larry, the
reporter,
the Florida reporter. Where is he? Neil Jones plays Larry, the Florida reporter. Hey, Kevin. Hey, can't win them all.
The first one at the beginning of the film, and Keanu Reeves is like, It's like, dude, relax.
Yeah,
that's all I get.
He sarcastically throws it back at him, like, hey, "Fuck off, Larry!"
Like,
and then
sneeze.
Larry goes drinking.
Yeah,
with
it's like
them.
a sneeze. It's like.
So he's had this relationship with Larry for a long, long time. And Marianne knows Larry because at the end when they win, they're going back to the beginning. Here's the coda. Goes back to the beginning and they go drinking. And he's all, I'm never going to get that quote. And he's all, come on, Larry. And Marianne, he knows Kevin so well that he also knows Kevin's wife, Marianne. And Marianne's giving him a hard time. He's like, hey, I'm just a reporter trying to get the scoop. Turns out that's not what's been happening. It's been the devil.
Well, it's just that, again, it's the idea that it's coming. You don't defeat the devil, so to speak. In this movie.
It's just going to repeat itself.
It's just going to come from a different direction.
The next thing,
right? Because that's what this version of the devil is: vanity, right? Vanity.
My favorite sin.
So, with that, I think we should end this podcast.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, this was a great one. Always good to converse with you, Tobes.
Thanks,
Check us out on anywhere you listen to podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. If you're watching, thanks for watching. Go ahead and tell us what your favorite scenes in this movie is all about. I'd love to hear it. So next week you're on assignment, right? So
yes, sir.
We're not going to see you for another couple weeks, but we'll have a good movie for you guys. And again, any last words, Tobe? For our audience?
Just stay true to yourself and know that internal monologue, that voice that you're having with yourself, that's you. That's my final thought. It's
And
actually you,
and with
as it
that,
turns out.
and with that, we'll see you again next week. All right, see you guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.